fitness. I wanted to highlight financial wellness, spiritual wellness, and environmental wellness, and that's what helps us be fully well. I am going to focus mostly on health today, but if you want other aspects of those New Year's resolutions you're making, like financial or spiritual, please go to my website and check out some of the blog posts that I've posted over the course of the last year, and most of them will help you along your journey. So getting started with what we're talking about today, the journey to better in health and wellness begins with beating stress, exercising, eating healthy, and shopping healthy. These aren't in any particular order. It was just the way I thought the presentation would flow the best. So we'll just go ahead and dive right in with beating stress, because I'm assuming that most of the people on the line are caregivers. And caregivers have an added stress that the rest of society can't even comprehend. We're all stressed. We live in a stressful society. Most of it's man-made, most of it's self-generated. But that being said, stress is stress. But then you add in the fact that you're a caregiver. Your time is not yours. You have to divide your time between your family, your loved ones, the person you're caring for, yourself, and usually yourself is the first thing to go. And what keeps accumulating, that's stress. So just a few things to help you beat stress. Some of these are obvious and some of them are less obvious. I'm going to go right into it. I am a big proponent of cutting sugar out of your life. You might say, what does sugar have to do with stress? That's actually a huge part of stress. One of the worst ingredients for stress is refined sugar. The fluctuations in your blood sugar lessen your ability to cope with stress, and they create mood swings, depression, and anxiety. There's been studies that show that the craving for sugar on your brain, if you look at the brain of a heroin addict, the sugar craving looks the same as when a heroin addict thinks about heroin. That's how addicted to sugar we are in our society. Well, drugs create mood swings, depressions, anxiety. Sugar creates mood swings, depression, anxiety. You don't need any added stress and anxiety in your life as a caregiver, so cut out the sugar. Avoid all refined sugars and foods that contain it. That means processed foods, all those quick things that you try to grab because you've got a busy life. The first thing you go to is a sugary thing. It makes you feel good immediately. Wow, it tastes good. Wow, you know, that really perks my senses because you get that sugar rush. Your brain starts to tingle, your body feels good, you have a moment of energy, but wow, that crash is really bad. So you would also want to avoid white rice, white wheat products, white bread, white pastas. Switch to whole grain products. Processed foods most often contain white wheat and refined sugar. And if you're an ingredient or label reader, just because something says enriched flour, that means that they've added vitamins. You'll say, oh, well, enriched flour is great because I'm getting all these extra vitamins. That is actually not the case. Enriched means processed. It means it's been processed so much that vitamins have been added in. Bad for you. If you eat a well-rounded, healthy diet of non-processed foods, you don't need enriched flour. You will get those vitamins and minerals on your own. So stay away from them to keep your blood sugar in balance and eliminate that stress. If you have a sweet tooth, snack on fruit instead. The vitamin C helps your body deal with the stress. And is there anything sweeter than a good fresh pineapple or orange? I mean, not for me, and especially if you cut out some of those refined sugars, those fruits are going to pop even more on your palate. Dark green vegetables, turkey, and nuts also actually help fight stress. So if you're feeling stressed and that encouragement is to reach for the candy bar in the grocery store because you're on the run and you grab a soda and a candy bar, think about looking at the nut section instead and maybe grab a bottle of water or even one of those little veggie cups that they sell. The other one may seem obvious. It's read. Reading is an escape. For a few minutes, you can get lost in the plot of a good book and forget about your own worries. And you may even be able to read a self-help book or a spiritual guide. It's portable. It's free if you take advantage of your public library. And for caregivers, this can be done while you're just sitting right next to your loved one. And, you know, you can keep them company and have a little bit of an escape at the same time. Meditation and prayer is very important. Even if you're not a religious person, meditation can be a very important choice of beating stress. One of my favorite ways to meditate is, it wouldn't work on a night like this or even a day like today, but when the weather gets a little bit nicer, think about going outside, sitting in a chair, closing your eyes, eliminate all the thoughts in your mind, and just focus on the sounds that you hear. Just everything, whether it's a dump truck passing by or a breeze through the trees or a bird. You will not believe how your heightened awareness of what's going on around you, you don't even realize how many sounds are going on because you're so wrapped up in what you're doing. We all are, that we don't stop and smell the flowers, so to speak. So that source of meditation has always been my favorite. It connects me with nature. It relaxes me. And I think it would be very helpful to anyone who's just trying to have a little bit of an escape for just a few minutes. And prayer is a personal journey, whether you're a devoutly religious person of any denomination or whether you're just, want to kind of offer it up, because you're just kind of having trouble tackling it on your own. That's always a great place to turn to is prayer if you're a spiritual person. The journaling is a very helpful situation as well. Some people find it cathartic. You put a pen to paper and you might be able to get out those feelings that you cannot tell to other people. You just can't express it. You're too embarrassed to express it, or you're hesitant to share how much the stress of caregiving is really on you, or how many, if you have other issues going on in your life. Pick up the pen and paper and feel that pent-up stress melt away. If you're even too guarded to do that, consider maybe writing your thoughts down and immediately burning them or shredding them. That's also cathartic, but you'll get your feelings down and they won't be around for someone to pick up later. Exercise, we're going to talk about that in detail, so I'm not going to linger on that right now, but it's a huge stress reliever. I think we all know that. Confront issues head on. Wow, as a caregiver, you probably have interesting family dynamics with people who aren't taking as active of a role in caregiving. I've seen that in my own family between the lead caregiver and people who are supposed to be support caregivers and may not be keeping up their side of the bargain to the extent that the family had originally agreed on, or whether to what you expected. That's not uncommon, and I'm sure Janae could speak to that at length about the tense relationships and unspoken issues that caregiving can have. And this, you don't even have to be a caregiver to have these in your family dynamics. Is don't let things pin up inside of you. Just in a calm and rational manner, try to discuss issues without drawing conclusions, and you will avoid prolonging hostility that will snowball into bigger issues. Because the last thing you need right now is a lot of stress. So we'll go more into the topic of exercise now, which is one of the great ways to relieve stress, but it also keeps your health up, which is so important. You do not have time right now to be sick, but you probably also don't have time to exercise is what you're thinking. One of the first things to drop in anyone's busy life is exercise. Ideally, any nutritionist or healthcare professional will tell you should be exercising 30 to 45 minutes a day. Well, obviously, if you're caregiving or live a busy lifestyle, you're going to say, how on earth can I fit that in? So here's a couple of the suggestions that I have that don't have to take very long. Some of them you can even do with the loved one you're caring for. Obviously, walk is great. Brisk walks are best, but even a casual stroll is better than nothing. If the person you're caring for is wheelchair bound, maybe you can push them around the block. You'll get some exercise, and it will increase the spirits of your loved one to get outside. Now, obviously, it's a little cold right now. I exercise all the time. I don't even want to go out and walk right now. But we're talking about in the spring on a nice day like it was over the weekend. Just find some time to get out and get some fresh air. 10-minute workout DVDs. They're all over the internet. You can get them at the public library. They're meant to work different muscles, 10 minutes on each muscle. So you could get a really good whole body workout if you did them all together. But if you're busy and you can only do 10 minutes a day, then you work a different muscle set every day. So that really helps. Yoga. Now, people are probably thinking, I cannot contort myself into a pretzel. I don't like yoga. There are many different kinds and levels of yoga. Yes, there's some where you have to do a lot of, flexing and they require different levels. But there's one particular kind of yoga that I found, and it's called Kundalini yoga. And it is a combination of very low impact yoga and meditation. You do feel like you've gotten a little bit of a workout, but it's a lot of meditation as well. Might be something for you to check out, because some people shy away from yoga because they think they don't have the physical abilities. But if you do have a little bit of physical abilities, I do recommend it, just because you can do it in your house. You don't have to leave the person you're caring for. You can get a DVD from the library or upload something from online. And it's a huge stress reliever, and it will keep you, it will detoxify your body. It's relaxing, and it creates an inner peace. And the flexibility that it creates is very important, and it does wonders for your body over the long term. Chair aerobics and exercises. I mean, most of us who have lived or dealt with seniors know that doctors tell them that they should be doing different stretches or lifting their legs or just doing leg raises and things like that if they're, not very mobile. And I don't know how many times I hear, the doctor tells me I should be doing this, but I don't. My grandmother was classic for that. She had leg problems, and they would give her these small little leg raises and things to do, and she just wouldn't do them. Well, maybe you and your loved one could sit there and do chair aerobics together. Maybe you could do the leg lifts together. Maybe it would encourage them to do the exercises the doctor wants them to do, and it would also get you moving as well. If you're really if you have lots of aspirations of exercising, another thing that you can do within the comforts of your own home are the 30-day challenges. They're all over the internet. Just Google 30-day challenges, and there's ones for sit-ups, push-ups, arm curls, arm dips. Every part of your muscle group, there's different challenges. Now, this is for the people who are a little bit more advanced, but they're a great way to be able to stay within the comfort of your own home and also get a little bit of exercise. Lifting weights, and I don't mean pumping iron. I'm not talking about getting a gym membership and, doing twice your body weight on, the free weights. This is 5, 3, or 5 pound weights, and do some arm curls, shoulder presses. If you follow me on Pinterest, sometimes I pin different workouts that you can do with weight all over the internet, or just simple arm raises and squats and things you can do to tone different parts of your body. And all you need is 3 or 5 pound weights. So with that little bit of exercise, you can really incorporate your muscle groups, get the fat burning because you're using your muscles, and really start to exercise and be healthy, because you need to be healthy for yourself and you need to be healthy for your loved ones. Now, eating healthy, I saved this for last because it really is one of the biggest parts, and it's the one that I talk the most about. So eating healthy has everything to do with everything. We don't nearly get enough fruits and vegetables in our American diet. It's heavily refined, heavily processed, and void of nutrition in most circumstances. That's why we see the processed foods I was talking about, where everything has been removed in the processing process, and then we have to add vitamins back in. That doesn't make any sense. So we're addicted to sugar. Sugar has been linked to heart attacks, obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancer, dementia, liver failure, depression, anxiety, irritability, constipation, and even low sex drive. So think about it. If everyone here on this line is a caregiver, probably one of the issues that the person you're caring for is within that list. Not to say that sugar caused those things, but do you want to be addicted to sugar or have too much sugar or processed foods in your diet, and then all of a sudden you develop one of these issues, and then you can't take care of your loved ones or your family back at home? no one wants to bring that situation on to themselves. No one wants to have to deal with these diseases. So, I mean, if we just thought that cutting out sugar could help some of that or scale back some of that, it's said that sugar has been linked to more heart attacks than fat. It's hard to believe because we have been led to believe that fat is bad, and obviously some fats are bad, but sugar is actually becoming the culprit to most of our sickness. Sugar decreases the body's ability to fight bacteria. So again, you need to stay well. You need to stay well for yourself. You need to stay well for the person you're caring for. And consuming 8 tables of sugar spoon or the equivalent of 2 12-ounce sodas, 2 cans of soda, causes a 40% reduction in the ability of white blood cells to kill germs. And this weakening of the immune system lasts for hours after that consumption. So say you go out to lunch, you grab some fast food, you get a soda, you refill it once or twice. You are weakening your immune system essentially till at least dinner time, and then you're probably going to have another soda, or you might have a cookie after dinner, which again weakens your immune system. So essentially we are walking around with a consistently weakened immune system. Healthy snacks are very, very important. And people on the go, again, reach for convenience food. So some people may think the protein bars or the granola bars or something you can stick in your purse or a bag are going to be healthy, but they're loaded with sugar, they're void of nutrition. I listed these particular snacks as just a few, and they were solely based on the fact that they would be easy for caregivers and people on the go to fight things such as fatigue, sickness, and diseases, but because they're portable and they don't need refrigeration. So these are some great ideas that if you know you're going to be out all day, snack on them in between breakfast and lunch, snack on them in between lunch and dinner. You won't be as famished, you won't be nearly as inclined to stop at the 7-Eleven and grab a candy bar if you've got these in your purse or got these in your car. Nuts and seeds are perfect. They provide fiber, which helps you feel full longer, and it lowers your cholesterol. It reduces inflammation in the body, which can lead to many types of diseases, including diabetes and heart disease. So by reducing inflammation, you're helping your situation, you're helping your health situation stay healthier. The recommended serving size is a quarter of a cup. That doesn't sound like a lot, but again, the fiber makes you feel full. You really only need about a half a cup. Sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, almonds, pistachios, those are probably the best. There's other kinds of nuts, none of them are bad for you, but those are probably the best, and those are the ones that I keep on hand. I'm not a big fan of walnuts, but sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, almonds are always in our cupboard. Carrot sticks, celery sticks or apples with peanut butter or almond butter are another great source of protein and vitamins and minerals at the same time. Buy healthy peanut butter or almond butter. That's the biggest thing. You can't buy Jif and make this a healthy snack. Jif has hydrogenated oils in it. It's loaded with sugar. My favorite is to go to the fresh market where you actually can grind it yourself. So there's absolutely nothing else in it. It is purely 100% ground peanuts and almonds. It might take some getting used to for you because you're used to those that are loaded with salt and sugar, but I guarantee you if you start eating healthy, you'll start to like it and you will never be able to go back to those other sugary kind because your palate will be a lot more sensitive to sugar, and you won't even want those other kinds of peanut butters. But it may take some getting used to, but you'll have that essential feeling that you are getting good fat in your body and you're eating a healthy option. Dried fruit's another great way. but you have to get the dried fruit. There's no added sugar or preservative. So you can't just go and buy raisins off of the shelf at the Food Lion, unfortunately, because there's going to be tons of sugar on there. Look for fruit that's unsweetened or sweetened with fruit juice. And find unsulfured or non-sorbate brands. You can find these at Trader Joe's, and they're not, the common misconception is that Trader Joe's is expensive because it's healthier food. Quite the contrary. You can find food there that's cheaper than in most of your regular grocery stores, and I'm actually going to break that down for you in just a minute. I don't have any affiliation with Trader Joe's. I don't get any compensation for naming them. I just find that it is one of the best resources to find healthy food for less. I buy unsulfured apricots there, non-sorbate pritted prunes, and we eat them as a healthy snack. Gives you a little bit of that sugar fix that you may crave because you're not eating the candy bars anymore. It's just enough because they're sweet, but they're healthy. It's not going to make your blood sugar crash. And then, of course, the classic carrot sticks, full of antioxidants, may lower your risk of heart disease. They're great on their own, but if you need a little bit of flavor, try some hummus. Don't reach for the classic dipping sauces or salad dressings, because 99.9% of the time they're going to have hydrogenated oils in them, or even the ones that say made with olive oil. You'll see that olive oil is one of the ingredients, but vegetable oil is also the leading ingredient. So yeah, it has a little bit of olive oil in it, but there's very few healthy salad dressings on the market. Bananas are one of my favorites because you get that sugar spike, you get the potassium, the magnesium, the fiber, the electrolytes, but you also get a little bit of that sugar that you're craving as well. And it not only gives you energy, but it may prevent or alleviate some health issues, including high blood pressure, ulcers, and a lot of people use it to fight constipation. So just another great reason to get some healthy snacks in the house. So what are your healthy meal options? Buy lean meat and poultry, and buy organic whenever possible. Meat is not bad. It just is how much of it you eat and what kind of meat you eat. If we could all eat less meat, we'd be able to afford buying organic meat because we'd be eating less. Meat prices for even bad cuts of meat are so expensive now. My husband and I have gone to mostly a vegetarian diet. I mean, we're not completely vegetarian. We do eat meat from time to time, but we've saved a ton of money, and we actually feel healthier and more energy. And I'm not saying this from just somebody who lives a sedentary lifestyle. My husband runs 5 miles a day and lifts weights a couple times a week. So we're talking about, an athletic, meat-eating kind of guy who, if you told him 5 years ago he'd be vegetarian, he would laugh at you and say, I'd pass out on my run because I wouldn't have enough energy. On the contrary, by switching over to a vegetarian lifestyle, he finds that, again, the food processes better in his body, and he's not as hungry as often as when we were eating meat more often. So beans are a great source of protein. Whole grains are a great source of protein. Quinoa, farro, spelt, and wheat berries, whole grain pastas are all very high in protein. So you can essentially, I'm Italian. I grew up with spaghetti and meatballs and all kinds of great food, but you would never eat spaghetti by yourself. You would always have the meatballs or a pork chop or, a meat gravy, something like that with it. You don't need it. The whole grain pasta has enough protein in it to sustain you for the evening. You can mix it with some vegetables or, just even a regular marinara sauce with a salad on the side, or you can do like a vegetable saute with some pasta. It's enough. It really is enough. We've gotten in our mind that we have to have that side of meat with our food. We can get protein from other sources. If you do like fish, avoid the farm-raised fish. There's so many chemicals of runoffs from our land that run into the places where they raise the fish that they're just so toxic it almost counteracts any good portion, any good benefit that you would get out of eating fish. Buy wild caught instead. And so my key to shopping healthy is shopping healthy does not have to cost you an arm and a leg, and you can actually save money by shopping. So you're all sitting there saying, is she crazy? I mean, I go to the meat section, and organic meat costs more than non-organic meat. And when I go to the vegetable section, the organic celery costs more than the conventional celery. Organic cookies and crackers cost more than non-organic cookies and crackers. What is she talking about? I'm not crazy. But the thing is that you have to change the way you think, eat, and shop. It's not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing apples to oranges. Apples to apples would be the fact that, yes, organic meat costs more than regular meat. And organic celery does cost more than conventional celery. That's comparing apples and apples. But what we need to do is compare apples and oranges. Processed food is expensive. We are making ourselves poor and fat off of processed food, whether it's cheap processed food or expensive processed food. Even organic processed food is still processed food. We are sold on convenience items that are making us sick. We've got to stop buying junk. The low-fat and low-calorie food crazes have made us fat. Hydrogenated oils, man-made ingredients, sugar for fat. When they're making something that's low-fat or low-calorie, they're extracting the fat and usually putting sugar or hydrogenated oils back in. So that's actually not good for you. They're void of nutrition, and they're actually causing some health risks by putting those hydrogenated oils and sugar in there. And just because something says organic, all-natural, gluten-free, they still, if they're processed, are less healthy. So it's getting back into whole foods. So avoid the processed foods, eat low, and you just say no to sugar. You won't die of starvation, and you won't become nutrient deficient if you cut sugary snacks out. So those cookies that you buy for your lunches every day, those tasty cakes that you buy for, you know, a nice evening snack, you don't need to buy them at all. Cut them out and you're already saving money. Cut out the processed crackers. You're cutting out things that you won't die without. They're bonus foods. They're empty calories. Use that money to buy organic meat and produce. Go meatless one night a week. Here's a straight up comparison. Beans and whole grains double, triple, sometimes even more in size after soaking and cooking. So one bag of black beans is $1.39. It yields approximately 7 cups for a cost of less than 20 cents a pound. Okay, the very cheapest cut of beef that you can possibly find. I mean, ground beef on sale practically is $3.99 a pound. So if you're eating meatless at least one night a week, you're saving enough money to maybe buy some organic ground beef the next time you go to the store. And again, the beef isn't what's bad. It's what's done to those animals in their living conditions that causes the toxins to build up in their body, or the antibiotics they have to use because they're living in that environment, which then are passed along to you. Organic meat doesn't have any of those issues, so you're not going to get raised blood pressure. You're not going to get the same health effects from organic meats. Again, lessen the meat altogether and you'll stay even healthier. The same can be said for a box of pasta. It will yield approximately 8 cups. You can buy a box of pasta on sale for 99 cents for a 12-ounce box. So, I mean, that's multiple meals, and there's your protein source for the day. Of course, we want to buy whole wheat pasta or quinoa pasta or something like that. You want to make sure they're not with enriched flours. You want to make sure they're just straight up whole wheat. And if you're eating, again, if you're eating this cheaply on some nights, you can afford to buy the organic produce or chicken or beef. And look for sales. I don't have a deep freeze. I wish I did, but if I had a deep freezer in my in my garage, I would buy all this organic meat when it's on sale and just stick it and put it away for a later time. So when you're talking about saving money, it's changing the way you think. So consider Exhibit A. This is a little thing I took a picture of in the grocery store. Some of you can tell by the symbol on there. I'm not going to blast any one particular kind of pastry, but some of you can tell from the picture what kind of pastry it is. It's a crumb cake that is by a certain famous maker, and it costs the equivalent of $6.04 a pound. No one would have any qualms impulse buying that if they saw it and wanted it, or had a sweet tooth, or I've had a bad day, I deserve this. No one would have any qualms with that. But I bet the same person would balk at the idea of buying organic free-range chicken for the same price or less. If organic free-range chicken is on sale, and sometimes even not on sale, it's less than $6.04 a pound. So consider that the next time you're prioritizing your grocery cart. Here's a side-by-side comparison. This says it all. Healthy snacks versus not so healthy snacks. Organic popcorn kernels, that is not a typo. If you buy a bag of organic popcorn kernels at Trader Joe's, it is the equivalent of 2 cents a serving. You can look on your not so healthy snack side, and you can not find anything close to that. So invest in a air pop popper. You can probably buy one at the Target for probably $20. If you go to my website on the sidebar, you can scroll through some of my favorite products. I have a link to the one we use in our home. I think it's like $17.99 or something on Amazon. So that's just one example. If you're looking for some more protein, sunflower seeds from Trader Joe's, $1.99 a bag, comes out to 13 cents a serving. Again, do you see anything as low as 13 cents a serving on the not so healthy side? Bananas, organic carrots. So again, we're not even talking about conventional laden with toxins. We're talking about organic carrots you can get for 22 cents a serving. So if you look at this side by side, there's no comparison to the processed foods that are going to give you empty calories, that are going to make you feel hungry 5 seconds later after you're done eating them and want more food. That's the other money-saving issue of buying unhealthy food. It could even, and I'm showing you it's not cheaper to buy unhealthy food, but even if you say, yeah, but I have a coupon and it's on sale, so that makes it cheaper, you will eat more of it, which means you won't be eating the serving size price that I'm showing here, and you're going to eat again and again and eat more and more, and you're going to eat more dinner because you've had those empty calories to hold you over. It adds up. Maybe not on paper because you don't see it, but if you really sit down and think about what you're eating, it actually does add up. If you can't afford to buy organic for everything, I completely understand that. We all live on a tight budget. Not everybody can go and buy produce that is expensive and organic. If you feel like you cannot afford to shop organic all the time, think about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. This is put out every year by the Environmental Working Group at the website at the bottom. They have other great resources for things you put on your body as well, like shampoos and lotions and things. That's actually one of their main topics, is toxins that you put on your body. But this is one thing that they're devoted to as far as things you put in your body. The Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. These are the dirtiest vegetables and fruits, judged by what chemicals they know that the farmers put on for processing. The Clean 15 are the ones that if you really can't afford to buy everything organic, you can probably buy these conventional, and there's not going to be that many toxic chemicals and fertilizers on there. So when you go to the store, maybe you want to Google Environmental Working Group before that, Dirty Dozen, Clean 15, or go directly to the website at the bottom. Keep a note of that in your wallet when you go to the grocery store, or in your little coupon clipper accordion that you carry around. And when you're in the produce section, make sure you buy apples, strawberries, grapes, celery, peaches, and so on, organic. And then your onions, maybe not as much. cantaloupe. Think about it, things that have heavy, thick lines on the outside. By the time you get to the middle, it hasn't absorbed to it. So it makes sense why cantaloupes and bananas and things like that, mangoes and papayas, kiwi, it makes sense why they would be on the Clean 15 list. So be practical when you're shopping. Pineapples, I mean, nothing has much of a harder core than a pineapple. So some more tips: buy frozen, buy in bulk, and buy online. My favorite online site, I get some of my dried fruit there. I get a lot of organic bath and beauty products. I get canned foods that are BPA free. And most of the time they're cheaper than I can buy them in the store. Plus, since they're being shipped to your home from out of state, you don't pay any tax on them. And if you order over a certain amount in your order, you pay no shipping. So you're actually, again, saving money because you're not paying the taxes, and you're getting it shipped straight to your door, so you're saving money on the gas. And if you use this link, I'll leave it up here for a minute if you wanted to write it down, or you can email me afterwards if you miss it, and I can send the link. And it's actually you can get it on the sidebar of my blog as well. If you go to that link, you will get $10 off of your first order. And I do get rewarded for that. I get $10 as well. I won't see any of your personal information. I'll have no link up to your account whatsoever. This isn't like a multi-level thing or anything. This is just a referral program. So in the future, if you start shopping with Vitacost, you could refer friends and they would get $10 off their first order. So everybody's happy. You get $10 off, I get $10 off, your friends get $10 off. It's just a nice incentive to share this great place with you. And a good amount of some of the products I talk on my blog, I've gotten through Vitacost. Actually just got a huge box in the mail today. You would not believe the extent of items that you can buy for some really great prices. So, and there's some other great online places as well that you can shop. But here's some, to finalize this, I'm just going to give you some more tips to carry you through 2015. I've given you some starting points, but we want to keep you healthy all year long. Most people drop their healthy resolutions by January. Everybody's excited. Everybody's intent. Let's keep it healthy through 2015 for the sake of the person you're caring for, but most importantly for yourself. Let's keep healthy in 2015. Follow The Wellness Wife by subscribing to my blog and following me on Facebook and Pinterest, thewellnesswife.com. And I am going to start within the next few days, put up my guide for my post-holiday sugar purification. If you haven't already noticed, I am very intent about how bad sugar is for you. That's not to say I didn't have fun at the holidays. So now I'm a couple pounds heavier, and I've had fun eating cookies. So every year, my husband and I do a post-Christmas purification. Once the Christmas cookies are out of the house, which the last one's going to be eaten tonight, tomorrow, no sugars, no processed sugars at all in our house for 1 month. I'm going to help you do that, whether you do it incrementally, whether you do it cold turkey like we do. I'm going to give you tips on how to do that. On different levels, if you're not really excited about doing it completely, I'll give you even modified ideas. I'll even give you some tips on products you can buy. I'm going to carry you through the purification so you can kind of have a little bit of a accountability partner, because that's important. If someone else isn't supportive of your journey, you're not going to follow through with it. I'm just very fortunate that my husband's very supportive and he's on board and he does the purification with me. So we'll all, I have some people participating in it, we'll all be each other's accountability partner. So definitely subscribe to The Wellness Wife. Keep checking back to see those posts that are going to be coming out soon. Come out tomorrow if you're in the greater Williamsburg area. Tomorrow night at the Williamsburg Chamber of Commerce at 6:30. Debbie Dunn of Sage Holistic Health and Wellness is going to be doing a presentation on healthy New Year's resolutions. So she'll just be expanding on some of the ideas I've talked about from her perspective as a herbalist and holistic health coach. Then next month, I'm going to be presenting at Elwell in Yorktown on Shop Healthy, Save Money. And that's going to be February 10th at 7 p.m. It's going to be a lot of what I've talked here, but I'll be expanding on it. So if you like what you heard and know someone else who would be encouraged by it, bring them on out. If you want to hear me expand and talk about it even further, come on out yourself. And just know that Carekeepers is always there to help. That's what they're there for. They've been in your shoes before. They can help you out. I'd be happy to help you out through my blog, or if you wanted to email me. So there's my email address if you wanted to be added to the list of future presentations. As part of our holistic networking group that's sponsoring the lecture tomorrow and my lecture next month, I can put you on the newsletter for that. You can also subscribe to my blog and get all the information throughout the year. And just let us all be each other's accountability partners. Let's help you have a healthy 2015. So thank you so much for taking your time out tonight. Like Janae said, we're just glad that we didn't have to go out for this presentation because I moved to Virginia, so I didn't have to have 17-degree nights. But anyway, we still have to have them every once in a while. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions for me, we'll try to figure out how to unmute the lines or so I can answer any questions you might have.
Can you hear me, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to close the presentation, and I will
muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
So if you press star, everyone, if you have questions, you can ask questions. Or you can type them in the chat section. And Lisa is always available to answer questions afterwards. So if we don't have any questions, I am going to put everybody back on mute.
Muted.
And Lisa, I thank you for your presentation this evening. I'm sure oh, wait, we do have a question. How do you break a sugar addiction, Lisa? Oh, wait a minute. Uh-oh. Lisa, can you hear me?
And may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
Lisa?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
We did have some questions.
Yes, I see the one about the sugar addiction, and I quit mine cold turkey through the help of a nutritionist, and that is some of the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you through my blog. Basically, she told me to quit cold turkey, and like, for instance, I'm a tea drinker and used to put a ton of sugar in my tea, and wow, when I stopped putting the sugar in my tea, I realized tea tastes really good on its own. Now I can actually taste the flavor in tea. I'm not tasting sugar anymore. And I honestly can say I quit cold turkey, but that's me personally, and I can do that. I understand that not everyone can. The other line of the spectrum is my husband, who definitely had a carb addiction. He was raised in a processed food family. When I met him, he'd have a cookie after lunch, and he would have, Little Debbie's after dinner, and he always had some kind of sweet treat in his house, and he loved chips, and he loved crackers, and he loved pretzels. And the funny thing is, he had bought into that low calorie craze, where he said, well, I'm eating pretzels, they're low calorie, look, there's hardly any calories in them, there's no fat in them, so I'm doing good. Well, and he wondered why he was plateauing. He's running 5 miles a day, and he wasn't losing any weight. So we analyzed his eating habits, and he started making changes. He's eating different sources of protein now. Of course, we buy a healthy whole grain bread instead of white breads or processed breads. It's a bread. I buy it at Martin's if you're in Williamsburg. It's in the deli department, and there's literally like 3 ingredients in it. You start buying that kind of bread for his lunches, and then he needs something crunchy, so we buy we buy other kinds of things like carrots or apples or things just so he can have the crunch. He buys plain or organic Greek yogurt and puts a little bit of honey in it so he can have his sweet. There's ways you can get around it, but for the most part you really just kind of have to wean yourself off those empty calories, and only you can know how quickly you can do it. Some people can quit cold turkey. Some people have to do it in stages, like maybe you cut out your sodas first or go down from 2 sodas a day to 1 soda a day. I would encourage you to try to quit cold turkey if you can't do it. And honestly, you might have headaches the first couple days. It's not going to be fun. So, yeah, just I can help you. If you want to read the blog, I'll give you some additional good tips over the course as I blog about it over this journey that I take. And quite honestly, once you get it out of your system, you are going to enjoy fruits so much. You're going to enjoy other kinds of foods so much. You have no idea how fun healthy eating can be once you get that out of your system. So I hope that helps. But yeah, I can, definitely follow the blog so that you get some more tips as I go on, some good recipes. And if you're on Pinterest, follow me on Pinterest. I pin a lot of like healthy snack recipes and healthy cookie recipes. Again, cookies are still sugary, but there's ways you can make them better for you. So, and Wallace Green asked how often we have these. Now, Janae is going to have a whole series that she can probably speak to.
Yeah, Lisa, he was asking specifically about yours. When will you be giving this talk again? So I told him you would answer him directly.
Okay. This presentation I won't be giving online again, but the presentation I'll be giving next month at Elwell on the 10th of February at 7 p.m. will be very similar to this. It'll have a lot of the same knowledge, but it is going to specifically focus on the food section, not as much on stress and exercise, but it will be an expanded part of the healthy eating section. So definitely, if you're interested,
is in Yorktown.
Yes. Yes. And if you wanted to send me an email, I can put you on that list, or if you want to send Janae an email, she can forward it to me. And we can
Lisa, can you type your email in the chat section for people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So you got all this technology, we got to learn how to use it. And did we have any other questions for Lisa or myself?
Yes, I wasn't. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm not on the internet, so because I'm not home, so I didn't get her email address, her website, or any of those things. Can I get that?
Sure. What is your email, and I can send it to you, or Lisa can send it to you.
Hey, Janae, this is Edwina.
Oh, hey, Edwina. Oh, I got your email.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it.
All right. That'll be. All right. Well, this has been a lot of good information. I appreciate being invited to this.
Oh, help us spread the word. We got a lot more left for the rest of the year. Some good topics coming up. So we appreciate everybody that joined in with us. This is something new that I'm starting because I understand that caregivers and people are just busy. And so getting people out to a formal place to attend this type of thing is going to be a little bit more challenging than if we do them online, where everybody like you, Edwina, you can just call in and listen, even if you're not able to view the presentation. And the presentations are recorded, so if you want to I will be posting the link so that you could actually see the presentation again. And that way you can take some more notes or review some things if you like. And so we have that convenience that will be available for everyone as well.
Great.
Oh, Wallace, the webinars look like they're running like every 3 weeks. And I'll kind of, if anybody else has any other questions for Lisa, I can kind of wrap things up and go over some of the upcoming webinars that we're having. The webinars are really designed for caregivers, and in my opinion, anybody that's caring for someone else is a caregiver. So you don't have to be taking care of a sick or disabled loved one, but if you're a parent, you're a caregiver, or if you're working in a healthcare profession as a nurse, a doctor, what have you, you are a caregiver. So the information that we share will be useful for everybody in that position. And even if you're not a caregiver, I think that it's good for you to know some of these things so that when you come across caregivers, and you most certainly will run across them, you will be able to share some of this information with caregivers in your community, in your workplace. You know, we all have neighbors and friends and even strangers that we see in the grocery stores, or, you know, we see them struggling with their caregiving role. So, you know, we have some information or some insight. I know that it would greatly impact people. But some of the webinars that we have coming up are going to be, the next one is going to be on January 28th. It's called Why Develop a Care Plan. You know, this is a good one for anybody, even if you're not in this position as a caregiver yet. But if you have a spouse, an aging spouse, if you have aging parents, if you have children with any type of mental challenges, disabilities, so forth, you need to have a plan as to how you're going to take care of them over the long term. And what will you do if, in fact, you are unable to do that for your loved one because of your own health challenges, or, you know, God forbid you pass away. You know, so who's going to care for that loved one? The next one after that is on February 11th, and it's entitled Managing as a Caregiver. I have been a caregiver for all of my young adult life, and I anticipate being one probably to the very end of my life. Managing as a caregiver is something that I personally had to figure out, because I am a very driven person. I was not going to set aside my goals and dreams and aspirations, so I had to figure out how I would be able to do that and still fulfill my responsibility of caring for the healthcare needs of my loved ones, who I was passionate about doing that as well. So what do you do when you are kind of in that situation where you're trying to be the best at everything, and is it really possible to be the best at everything? That is something that I will be discussing. And we're also going to be having another person come, Dr. Carol Chandler. She's going to be discussing the Beginner's Guide to Naturopathic Health. Maybe you've never heard that term before, and you know, this is a new year and you want to really delve into your health and wellness journey. She will be able to shed some insight, and it will kind of build off of what Lisa has been talking about as far as eating and your diet, and she wants to teach you how to eat to heal your body. And then we're going to talk about, you know, choosing a home care or a service and facility, and what kind of resources are available. We're going to have some other topics about organizing and caring for your loved ones during the holidays. So we have a whole lineup for you. We're even going to be talking about, it's got confirmed, about how do you deal with caregiving in marriage. You know, a lot of people are finding themselves being caregivers, they're married, and that adds extra stress. So we actually have a guest speaker that's going to be talking about how do you hold the relationships together when you are faced with the challenges of being in a caregiver role. So those are some of the things that are coming up. You can go to my website, carekeepersinc.com, for further details and registration, and please help us to spread the word because people out there need this information. And the great thing about the webinars is it doesn't matter where a person is, because I'm looking to impact caregivers' lives and people's lives around the world. So it doesn't matter where they are, even if they can't attend the sessions live, they will have access to the recording. So I noticed that Lisa has put up her web address again. It's The Wellness Wife. I encourage everybody to sign up for her email list and just take a look at her blog. I mean, it's awesome what she's doing. And we do have our own holistic networking group that we meet in Newport News, at Elwell, or Yorktown, I should say, and we also meet currently as a chamber in Williamsburg. So if you're in the area and you're able to come out, if you subscribe to her site and everything, she will let you know. Or if you email me, I can definitely send that information out to you. So unless anyone else has any further questions for Lisa or myself, we can adjourn the meeting. And I thank everyone for participating this evening, and I look forward to having you all at the next webinar event. And please help us spread the word.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for everything. It was great.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everybody being here.